thing, I was right in the store and this, well, I won't use attributes or whatever because it's funny. You're not allowed to have humor in America today. But anyway, the very thing I went to go purchase was in somebody's hands, and it was the last one. So I'll try not to make a concoction. I'll try not to. It's just, and then I go around, and there doesn't seem to be much meaning to anything for what people do, and it's bizarre. And people will argue that point against me. That's where I maintain passing through what in the previous video I called Chapel Perilous. And I'm up here. The idea is the aspect of an incongruity of being exhausted, having a goal in mind, and then seeing right before your very eyes somebody walking around in a drone trance with the product that you need to repair your roof in their very hands, and wondering what to do with that energy that builds within when a situation like that develops, or unenvelopes, if you want to say. I like to be a little bit purposefully colorful with my terminology to spruce it up a bit, and I realize that's shunned upon in the continent or the country that I live in, because we're supposed to be really dumb all the time. You get in trouble for a lot of things. Thus I say I'm in trouble with everybody all the time for everything always. It's not really untrue, it's just, it's weird to have to explain an aspect of characterism in this country, but I just wonder what to do now, because I'm supposed to do a show later and all that. It's gonna be really stuffy. I gotta get the AC and the heater fixed in this car also. That's like that many hundreds of dollars or whatever. Unless I clone this car, rewind it in time, and then clank the right utility out, and then disappear the secondary car, pop the piece in myself, and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I'm not going to have some war against God or anything like that. It's just kind of funny when you see what you need in front of your personage at that very time, and somebody else is purchasing it, and it's your third trip. It's this aspect of wondering what could I do to give myself some wisdom of this scenario, rather than lashing out in a critical sort of way and everything. But I might rather as much as lash out in a critical sort of way. So I have my show later, and it's more than 11 hours away, and I'm wondering if I'm going to show up to it or not or anything, because if I go and I'm just playing and I'm the only one there yet again, I mean, I feel like there should be at least 5 to 9 people for something that I do. It's not like the worst stuff in the world. It's not very traditional, I admit, but that's why I talked about Memphis, Nashville, Austin, Washington on the other side, and all that kind of thing. So I'm exhausted, and I'm at where I'm at, and I'm seeing why life might have led me up here in the first place and everything like that. If there's any good results out of that course or anything, so I'm just not so particular to do everything I'm supposed to be guided to do and everything. Like to see a social counselor for my 4th time, and then they schedule me all the way up to the 24th after the last visit, probably because they figured via the conversation I had there's nothing they could really do. It's just talking. And my answer was action, activity, challenge me. I said, hey, social counselor, challenge me. Like, give me challenges to go out and make myself, like, fulfill, And I'm like, oh, I have books that tell me how to do that for myself. I'm just a paycheck to them. And, I don't know. People are supposed to bend and dip and dive and swirl and all sorts of ways of pleasing what doesn't come to an ultimate fruition, and it's called wasted time. And with wasted time, you have enough wasted time, and then it turns into a wasted life. And then you turn into a lethargic person, and everyone thinks they are everything that they have been. It's a good question. The idealized person within. The people reach to reroute what it is they can be, because it takes a lot of effort. Monetarily, it's not that really rewarding to change yourself for the best in this civilization. Isn't that strange? But anyway, yeah. I think God is a good excuse for people to find anger at something, or hope in something, or desperation of worrying about things that aren't happening now in this life and everything. And I think deep down I am an agnostic. I like to take the best things out of any religion or anything that's like a spiritual piece of thinking, and also a criticism against spirituality too, to take the best pieces out of those available arenas of doing and faith and all that, and to do what you can with the best pieces of those things. But there's a lot of faltering. There's a whole situation of European ingenuity that had sacrificed itself by the aspect of the whole turn the other cheek thing, where it's like some sort of sadism that's immensely enjoyed upon or whatever. Well, people take thousands of years of thought evolution and throw it away so that they can be accepted by other people that don't want, them to exist anymore. So that's interesting also. I'm probably in the wrong town and wrong county to be, a little bit transparent about that aspect of thinking and that aspect of ideaing. Is that a word? Ideaing? It is now. So it's the aspect of going and purchasing products and then stuffing your face and maintaining a good public relations image through whatever local tribe that you are supposed to rely in coexisting upon and everything like that. So if you live as neutral chaos, or if you live as a wild card factor, or if you're curious about what else is on and out there beyond other tribe rituals, then you have to essentially be on your feet all of the time. So anyway, I did have thoughts of ripping that Flex Seal product out of that person's hands and just running or talking and seeing if they would, mind it, but that could have gone into a different route that I wouldn't have necessarily wanted so much. So anyway, it's about 7 minutes in for me to step out and go through a store and have somebody be unnecessarily rude to me or something like that, or to have a certain thirst of a certain kind of communication out and about. But it's very rote. It's very much assembly line participation and thinking in this present reality. And some of us that feel like manual mutants or aliens on our own turf, in a way, where we are the real Earth people, but something had happened over time with a different kind of mutation through chemical obsession and bodily and mental damage done through humankind, where the norm of the concourse is those that are mentally and bodily damaged. And if you want to hunger for information, it falls into that category of chaotic neutral. So I just, wouldn't be saying all of these things if I had went and got that Flex Seal tape that was the last one up there. So maybe that's the reason that it all happened. Some of these forays of thought being able to be publicly expressed. Not that I've ever really had much of a following or anything. Not that I don't want a following. I don't like those words either, by the way. Following, followers, and fans. I think connectives, calling people connectives, or supporters, or friends. And I don't like the word ally because it's been militarized in a way where if you question anything, then you are an enemy rather than an ally. And open ideas and open criticisms are things that build people into becoming more well-rounded human beings and all that. But I'm exhausted, and I'll see if I'll make my own show later. If the venue or whatever ever looks at this video and sees that I made this video and even contemplated not doing the show, first and foremost, it's been so bad with getting gigs, first of all, denied when I even ask about them, and then actually having them and having very little of a turnout, and having any co-participation of the venue helping me advertise that the show is going to happen. I do as much as I can with it, but affording flyers and everything like that, I'm the kind of musician that's roughing it, and that's where I feel like I deliver on some rawness and some authenticity of certain kind of feelings that other people hide away and kind of dress up and this whole perkiness that doesn't always seem legitimate to me. And I represent all those different atmospheres of feeling good, but also the rawness, a lot of folklore, and the aspect of what in the previous video and earlier in this video I labeled as Chappelle Perilous. So it's a raw, you get what you get kind of thing. And there is more thinking into it involved as well. But I can't become whatever artist today kisses little nothings into the air. And I kind of find it fun, maybe, if I start to jab out a little bit about it. It might be controversial or whatever, if there's anyone to listen to it. There's not. So that's where the aspect of an apparition comes from, where I so-called frolic the demeanor of being an apparition. But you can go into a place and literally ask somebody a question and they don't even see you there. And it's bizarre. And if it happens multiple times, you have to wonder. And I'm watching a man try to train his dog right now, but his dog's jumping up on a planter, trying to urinate on a baby pine tree growing, and the guy can't handle his dog. And it makes me wonder how many people can handle themselves in the world when they have other things that they have to also try to train at the same time. So, anyway. All of this because I drove all the way up here yet again, and I went to go get a roof sealant tape. So I'm going to shop online and see if I can find any similar things regarding that, and then have to wait a bit, and hopefully my roof doesn't soften or sog. And the people that sold me the camper too used lawyer terminology. I'm kind of on part and part with if they were truthful to me about it or not, and all that kind of thing. If I say anything about it, it'll probably cause some defense on their own behalf, but I asked questions about the roof, this and that. My own demeanor of getting up on there and checking every square inch of the roof myself, though, when purchasing it. Some of the people more airy and living in the sky rather than being an earth-ground person would do best to go through absolutely everything. But when one goes through absolutely everything, checking for everything, still there are circumstances and surprises that do show up. And that involves having to take care of every mechanism that we've taken into our lives. And it's a lot of time of maintaining things that aren't permanent. There's no permanency in a lot of the things that we have to babysit until the time that death does come. That's why freewheeling and chaotic neutral and being the wild card is more than something dreamy to me, and it's not some sort of coat that I put on so I can seem like the alternative. The alternative hip people that can make it through are rich enough to where they can just cut out of that. But me, the person that can't actually really always afford to make flyers and print them out, there's no other real choice. I'm put into that mode of having to be what I am and who I am. So that's how that goes. Now I got to go browse for some product. Maybe there will be some other product in this place that I had missed out upon, as that person was carrying the very one, the last one, out in their own arms, leading me to make this video. And also clean out some of the interior of my car and all the papers and things that are dancing around. Next might be vacuuming the carpets. I think a galaxy black hole might be able to vacuum us through it, though, and if we get out the other side, it'll rearrange us into the pieces that make a little bit more sense to this journey. That's the video.